I think I might have missed the memo on getting a branded polo t-shirt, but we'll be able to go. I went with the pink shirt, which is Candybox. Yes, I want to start with a thank you, first of all, from everybody. I want to thank all the speakers that have been here before me. Thank you, Oscar, for being the moderator, SaaStock for putting on this event, giving us the option to speak on this stage, and then also all of you guys for listening and watching along. My name is Ryan Scott from Candybox, and I'll be discussing how to foster genuine connections in a distributed world. So connections are really, really important. We've all seen and heard of the 6 degrees of separation, which was conceptualized about 90 years ago. But with the rise in social media, Facebook recesses 3.5. Now, I'm not sure how you get 0.5 of a person, maybe when someone talks about their uncle, sister's friend's dog or something like that. The research is pretty solid. So with the world getting smaller in terms of connections, but getting more complex each day, we are seeing new avenues to connect will open up. Virtual events like this is but one of those examples. So what do we mean when we say the distributed world? Well, there's some fantastic talks on this. Dominic Price from Atlassian has a really, really great one. But years ago, companies had everything they needed in-house. Then they started offshoring, then nearshoring, then getting short-term freelancers, and now remote workers. Not seeing your colleagues face-to-face on a day-to-day basis is what we're seeing more of every day. Let's take Candybox as an example. Our founder, Catherine, is in Mexico, deliveries out of the US, operations in the UK, and in development in Berlin. The foundation of this separated but unified front was all built around having a strong network. And this is why it's a topic we wanted to talk about. So what is the benefit of fostering genuine connections? Well, I want to ask you guys a question first. Have you ever gone for an interview and then years later actually hired that interviewer? I'm going to tell you a story about Catherine. And I chose the palm trees because I'm clearly missing a beach holiday this year. In 2011, a 20-something engineer walks into an interview with Dan. She doesn't get the job, but Dan and Catherine had such a good professional relationship and respect for each other and their aptitude that they stayed connected, celebrating, talking over the years, and catching up outside of work. Let's skip forward to 2019. About 6 months ago, Candybox is inside year 1, and Catherine reaches out to Dan. Hey, Dan, I've got a project coming up. Do you know any freelancers? Dan says, yeah, absolutely. Me, you can hire me. Catherine's like, brilliant. Well, it's quite a large project. Do you know anyone else? And Dan recommended Mihaela and Aura straight away. Now, I can also assure you that these are accurate representations of what these people look like and what they used to look like. But what can we gather from this story? Well, we can see that the connection between Catherine and Dan was so good, he was willing to recommend himself because he knew Catherine. But then also, in Dan's network, he was able to recommend Mihaela and Aura within a heartbeat because of the strong connection that they had. So we can see how genuine connections can be beneficial, not just in a primary sense, but in a tertiary sense too. The question is, how do we get there? Well, there's a couple of, that's what we found is with the abundance mindset. Now, we understand this can be difficult in this current situation, but the abundance mindset is the service mindset mentality, which focuses on customer support and has allowed a lot of companies to become more customer-centric these days. The abundance mindset, though, I find is a bit subservient. The idea is, instead of giving 50% of effort and expecting 50 back, you always give 100% of everything you can. Be a positive empath in the way that you conduct yourself, generate goodwill, and be a beacon for those around you and in your network. You can do this really simply just by replying to messages, jumping on a call with someone. I know everyone texts nowadays. You know, it's nice to just pick up and celebrate each other. Someone's leaving a role. That's not a bad thing. They're going on a whole new adventure. Celebrate with them. Someone's starting a company. Oh, that's incredible. Help them out. See what you can offer. Celebrate major life events. Like a message from somebody. Share a post. Always extend the olive branch and let yourself be at the forefront of people's mind because you gave 100. Let's bring me on to my next tip. Strength and vulnerability. Now, I really highly recommend you check out Brené Brown. She's got a great TEDx talk about the power of vulnerability. And here's a great quote from her. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It's our greatest measure of courage. By not accepting or asking for help, you isolate yourself from other people and prevent learning and growth. I'm going to give you another example. Let's take this event here. Now, I am a project and client manager. I am not an events coordinator. We are a small team, and Catherine says, hey, Ryan, can you spearhead this event from our side? I said, yeah, okay, sure. I went straight to my network of people I know that have run events or in events. And I said, hey, I've got a booth. I'm going to be doing a talk. What should I do? And I got an overwhelming response of congratulations, good lucks, tips and tricks, pitfalls to avoid. Instead of not accepting help, I reached out. I made myself vulnerable. I am not 100% sure on what I'm doing. Can you help me? And I wasn't laughed at. I wasn't shunned. I was thanked for seeking their support. And the final point is ABG, always be great. It doesn't sound as good as ABC, but it goes without saying, right? Connect with as many people as you can. Connect with everybody you meet on the virtual floor today. Hopin has a fantastic ability to do this already, but even outside of this, every recruiter that messages you outside the blue or service provider that's trying to offer you something, have that conversation with them, because you might not need them now, but later down the line, you can always respark that conversation. Make any connection now, and it might lay dormant for years. You guys saw earlier what happened with Catherine and Dan. That took 8 years to come to fruition. So in summary, care for the connections you already have. Live the abundance mindset. Put yourself out there. Give yourself a chance to be vulnerable, and always be growing your network. Hannah Renner in the opening remarks of this said, invest in long-term relationships. And Aaron Ross talked about the importance of connecting to his teams. So in that light, there's a QR code on the screen. That's for my personal LinkedIn. Connect with me. Might be now, might be later, and I'm happy to tell you more. And also on the shop floor today, come visit our booth. It's pretty lonely in there, not gonna lie. But just come and chat. You don't have to talk about work, we don't have to talk about selling. You know, it's just nice to let's make that and see what's there. So thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And thank you, Oscar, again, for moderating.